right. Good evening, everyone. We are watching the Gran Turismo Philippines Miata Night, a series of three races going to happen tonight with a lot of drivers already initially registering this day. We have about 25 drivers right now. We are cutting that number down because we want to make it more exciting for those who are really fast. And we're down to how many drivers are we expecting on the grid tonight?
So we're expecting 12 drivers.
All right.
We have two race monitor drivers. So if you see 14 drivers there, there's only actually 12 drivers racing.
Okay, so we have 12 drivers, and now let me just introduce myself. I'm Nico David from the Inquire Mobility Group, and we have also tonight the guys from Gran Turismo Philippines. Guys, introduce yourself.
Hello guys, good evening to you all, to our viewers. Good evening.
All
With
right.
TJ as well.
Hi everyone, good evening as well. Nice to be here.
Okay,
And
so
of
tonight,
course,
yep,
yes, Miko?
yep. So tonight we'll be having about three tracks going on. The first one will be racing in Tokyo Expressway style tracks here using public roads, a street circuit. And then we will also be having our Red Bull very popular track, very fast track that is punctuated hairpins at the very ends. Tsukuba Raceway, very popular also track on in Japan. And all of these cars are all Mazda Miatas, and all of them will be able to race together because they have opened the group has opened the tuning for tonight's races. So that means everyone's skill is not just only be on the track, but also in the garage as they try to set up their cars for these three races.
Yes. And one interesting thing here is that the reason why we chose Tsukuba as our last track, because that's the home of tuned sports cars in Japan. So that's very famous for tuning. And for this race, this is our open tuning race for the year.
Very, very good. And why did we pick the Mazda Miata for this race series?
So we're looking for a car that's easier to handle because we know that we're gonna have a lot more new drivers on track, and so we wanted something that has a bit of a low power output, but would still test their driving skills.
Great, great. And as we know that Gran Turismo Philippines is very big community of Gran Turismo players. And we've had a lot of people who moved up the ranks or joined international competition, especially when we had Nissan coming in a few years ago with their GT Academy, right?
Yes. So a lot of our drivers are very active in when GT Academy was there. We also have some drivers that have moved from virtual to real life drive through our, of course, through joining our races. They were able to join either GT Academy or other real world motorsports and are now fully fledged drivers.
Very great. So all of these guys are experienced online racers, and now they're going to be racing in one machine. Of course, they have the opportunity to tune these machines, these cars, for the tracks that they'll be using tonight, and that makes it more fun and exciting for the drivers tonight, of course.
Yes,
All
and
right.
of course we're expecting some close driving, especially when we get to Red Bull.
Yep.
And once we finish all three races, we'll be computing the standings on the back end, and hopefully by the end of the third race, we'll have our live stand.
All right. So right now we are seeing the drivers exiting their garages. They're
Mhm.
trying to at least, right?
Yes, and
And yep,
yes, and that's one
this is
thing
going
that
to
we.
be a qualifying race, right?
Yes, it's going to be a 5 minute 10-minute qualifying. After which
Okay.
we'll take the fastest first for the grid stand, and then right after this race, it will be a grid. So right now we are seeing some drivers who can't get out of the pits, and this has been for those who have already been following the streams. We know that this is an issue with the game, and right now, bear with us while we sort out the drivers will go out of the server, then come back, and hopefully once everybody's inside the grid, we can proceed.
As you guys are watching, this is going on. So everything that's happening here is live. So even the commentary is live. The racing is gonna be live. So we will be watching everything as it unfolds. And this time, as the cars are trying to prepare and get themselves into the track for a 5 or 10 minute qualifying session, this will allow us to determine who or where on the grid each will land up in as they start their first track, which is going to be Tokyo Expressway.
So while we're waiting for the drivers to finish re-entering the server, fixing the issues uh, with their Gran Turismo client, um, we'll just give you some background on what we've had so far throughout the year. So we've had three main races. The latest one was the four series, and that just recently finished. Before that, we had the EK Cup, and for those that have already won a race series, they will not be given points for for the succeeding series. What we want to is to keep. We want the new drivers to be more hopeful regarding bagging some of those because uh, we want to encourage new players to join our series, our league.
Yeah, and as you know, that Gran Turismo Philippines has its own Facebook page, and those who are interested in joining the races here being organized by the group, you just have to message them and join the group, right?
Yes. So
All
you
right.
can look at the Gran Turismo PH Facebook group, join that group, or you can also go to Sim Racing PH and join that group because both Facebook groups are actually connected by so all of the announcements, race announcements, and series updates are all there.
And of course, this Gran Turismo Philippines Mazda Miata Night is being brought to you in cooperation with GTPH, Sim Racing Philippines. Have Kotsean, where we are getting the live feed from. And finally, our media partner for tonight, Inquire Mobility.
Yes, so we're very excited that we're getting recognized. It's a very small community. It started as a very small community, and we're very proud that after a few years, we're getting recognized on the mainstream gaming circles. And now both Sim Racing PH and Gran Turismo PH are offering more races. We've been having these races since 2009. And it used to be that it's just about 4 races per year, and now we're planning on at least 9 for Gran Turismo PH and a lot more in Sim Racing PH.
Good. And as you can see right now, this is the qualifying ongoing, right?
We'll be waiting for them to all fill in, and then we'll start the qualifying,
All right.
official qualifying. Right now, they're just practicing.
Okay. So again,
So
we'll be waiting for that qualifying session to start as all the drivers who we've had an opportunity to see on the track. We did try the Brands Hatch Indy track earlier just to weed out the faster drivers for for these three racetracks that we will be having.
Mhm.
And right now, the cars are just circulating around the track as the rest of the field tries to dominate.
Yes. So we're gonna change. We're the qualifying format for now. We don't want to run into that same issue with the pit bug where everybody cannot get off the pit lane.
Mhm.
So what we're gonna do is we're going to set a timer um, for them to do.
Oh,
What we usually do is we'll change the track, and once we get back to the actual track, we'll start the qualifying because that resets the records in Gran Turismo. But for now, what we're going to be doing is we'll be starting the qualifying as soon as everyone's on the grid, and we'll start a timer for them to finish. So right now, there's about 5 minutes in. You can see uh, on the lower left corner, you might see you might see uh,
mhm.
so we'll just set our feed so everybody the timer.
All right. So again, you're watching Gran Turismo Philippines Miata Night. And this idea was really born out of our necessity to have fun, and we've had a lot of time inside our homes. We've been staying inside our living rooms for so long that we get away and time to let our or speed out, right? So luckily we have simulation racing games like this in Gran Turismo that allow us to go back on the track virtually and to experience speed one.
Yes, and a lot of actual racing series have jumped on the sim race bandwagon. We've seen F1 do their own
Yeah.
series. We've seen he has their own series with their actual riders playing online.
And then recently, I do remember that Formula One, as you mentioned, drivers or many of the top drivers are there. Charles Clerk was there. Have veterans like Jenson Button trying it out for one time. So simulation racing is picking up, especially during these times when everyone is locked down into their trying to stay safe and healthy. So at least we have something to pass the time away and enjoy, keep our mobility going despite all this lock.
Yes. So right now we've informed our drivers that the qualifying
Great.
we're at 6 minute the 6 minute mark inside the server. So we will be starting the race at 16 minutes on that mark.
Okay, so let's go through this track. This is the Tokyo Expressway South Inner Loop, right? So
So
we, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
so this is a not it's based on the actual Tokyo Expressway, but of course, fictional in the sense that they don't really hold race.
And then we were able to try this track earlier, and as you can see, it's very high speed. The cars are driving virtually on empty highways in Tokyo, and this has been repurposed to become a racetrack. These are real roads, as I mentioned earlier, but they managed to make a racetrack out of them. And as you can see, like most of the time, you're in fourth or in this very quick and very fast track, and then this is punctuated at the end, two ends by two hair.
Yes, and a lot of the folks usually use this for they want to simulate a Wangan experience.
Right.
Racing on the highways.
Japanese car culture, right? Yeah.
Yes, piece of Japanese car culture and just racing out there to a track that they can do that in. But it doesn't stop us from actual race because there's a lot of straights in this track. I've tried to track using the Miata, and you can actually corners. You don't even you're just
Yeah.
gonna throw the car around.
Yeah. So you're relying basically on the vehicle dynamics of the Mazda Miata to get some grip through the fast corners.
Mhm.
Some of them trying, I actually tried earlier, so some of them was just grazing the wall. You really have to be very exact with your racing lines here, especially in the street, because in the real world, this would have, if you hit any of these walls, this would have been a disaster for everyone.
Yeah.
All right, so we're now into the qualifying session. On our first track, everyone's really flat out. It's very long track. It'll be the how much time are we gonna be seeing? How much time difference are we gonna be seeing between drivers?
Well, let's go to the live timing monitor, and we can see that the average is around 130, 129 for the faster drivers. Right now, we're seeing the quickest one right now is at 132, and the slowest is at 142. So there's a 10
Seconds,
second
right?
gap. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a very big gap. We want, of course, that everyone. The nice thing about Gran Turismo Philippines is that everyone can actually get some tips on how to race these cars on these tracks. I believe the community is helping each other out not just to have fun, but also to teach guys how to drive through certain portions or certain and make sure it's fun, right?
Yes.
Qualifying is the
Ooh, we
fourth
just
gear
saw
corner.
someone
Oh,
just
scrape
grazed
the wall
that
right there.
wall.
Yeah. Oh, how hard they're pushing their Mazda Miatas right now. These, of course, are basically about 200 horse with 5 speeds and the racing suspension, lighted, and they're all really pushing the envelope here, the grip through these corners, swinging left and right, and through the tunnels and the fast straights here at the Tokyo Expressway style.
Mm. So we're on the 11-minute, so we still have 5 minutes to go on our qualifying.
So far, who's on top of the leaderboard? Can you see?
On top is ADR MiG 90s. A lot of the followers might not recognize some of these drivers. There's a lot of new drivers that came in, but they would recognize John Alon, the drift method, Custodio, then Bird Leg 420, which is Pat S. So and Elias 17 is also a newcomer. So that is your top five.
And many of these guys are Gran Turismo veterans. And then some of them are new, actually. So it's a good mix, a healthy mix right now we have tonight. So it's not just event that's being dominated by the veterans, because as you can see, even the newcomers are
Hmm. And one thing is that you might not see some of the other drivers. The boom in sim racing right now, there's a lot of series that's being held elsewhere, and a lot of our veteran drivers, the ones that have been topping our series, we don't see them much on this race because there are a lot of other races that they're. So
and it's not
this,
just
mm,
yeah, not just local, right?
yes, both international and local.
Yeah. And that's the nice thing about e-racing and digital motorsports. You actually democratize the ability of people to join these kinds of races, to race against people who are very skilled in what they do, and some of them are even real racing veterans, happen to find good entertainment in digital motorsports nowadays. So it allows you to race with the veterans, allows you to race with the pros, and with experienced amateurs, but they're not really slow. Not because you're amateur, you're slow. They are actually very quick, and the gameplay of the event, the Gran Turismo races right now.
Okay, so let's. We have 3 more minutes before we start the race, and
So
John
far,
Alonso
oh,
has now gone up the rankings. He's now first,
oh, he's first up. What?
about less than a second. So 132.3 for John and 132.4 for ADR MiG 96.
Adrian Miguel, right?
Yep,
Okay, so the top two guys, there's a 1 second spread, right? And
less than 1 second. Yeah,
less than 1 second. So we have how many minutes to go?
we have 2 minutes to go.
Which is about good for one lap, would
One
you
more
say?
lap.
One more lap. So let's see how the rankings end at the first qualifying session that we have. So this qualifying session will determine the grid for the Tokyo Express Race Interlude. And then what will happen the next two racetracks that we will be having tonight?
So on the next two racetracks, we'll change the set into a reverse grid race. So what that means is that from the race standings, we are going to be reversing those standings, or Gran Turismo is gonna take care of that for us. And the first place will go to the last place, second place to be second, and so on and so forth until they fill out the grid.
Great. So, okay, so the qualifying session is still ongoing. Again, you're watching the Miata Touring Night brought to you by Grand Turismo Philippines, Sim Racing Philippines. We also have Pakitosian as our streaming partner, and of course our media partner, Inquire Mobility, giving us the exposure and giving e-racing the exposure that it, and of course as an avenue or venue for entertainment and for drivers to show their skills on.
Okay, so about 10 seconds left before I start the race. And there you go, 16-second mark. So we'll be starting the race. On the back end, what we've been doing is we've been taking screenshots of the grid, so that if we run into any issues, you can arrange that grid.
All right. So again, we just finished the qualifying session. We will be now moving on to our actual first race for the night, our Mazda Miata Night Philippines, and this is going to be exciting. So we have 12 drivers right on the grid.
Yes, and hopefully all 12 are able to start properly.
Okay.
So the top five hasn't changed much except for fifth. So instead of Ilya
So
17, we have
for
Kyle.
yeah. What's the grid position right now for the races that we have tonight?
So John Alonso is first, second is Adrian Miguel, third is Michael Custodio, fourth is Pat Hess, and is Kyle Bakay. And now this there seems to be some glitch at the back of the
All right. So we have Adrian Miguel in the lead right now as he's pulling away. This is the first for the first race for tonight on the other night, and
we have some glitch drivers, and to give them a fair advantage, what we usually do is we restart the race
all
engine.
right.
Our grid has just dropped.
Okay.
So starting from the ninth place going up, they're all
So you're still just
on
waiting
this.
on the grid.
Yeah.
So
So
we'll wait for the guys
restarting.
to. All right. So we'll wait for the guys to make it back to the grid, and we will see a good start. Hopefully, here the first race for the Miata Night right now. Tokyo Express Race Out Air Loop. The guys are trying to proceed position themselves on the grid. We have up to 11th place I can see here, so trying to make their way. We have Gran Turismo Philippines bringing to you our first mobility race featuring the Mazda Miata and members of Gran Turismo Philippines. This is the first time that we'll be showing these races live on national internet access, as you would like to see. And we're trying to, again, this is all live, so we are trying to see how we living rooms. So it's compete in their houses through the magic of racing right now because of the COVID-19 situation. This the track. So this is what we've been missing.
Okay, so I'll on I'm doing that. We're being inquire. Miko, tell us our mobility.
Portal, and this series end up with motoring personal car launches. We have a Facebook website, ability use. Don't have always check out the Facebook page if you require. But what's the latest about the get back still or guilty? We will racing PH for keeping this mentioned earlier. So things sing esports.
I know a lot of the viewers of actual it's not acknowledge that, but the difference between any other like to read actual reverse steer.
20 or so one was brand new. Back then. So I check out the lap time that I'm doing race get before doing the heat and all. You have to be able to race consistently.
Or just one track.
In the Inquirer Mobility first of Grand Turismo they are doing this.
Yes, and like you mentioned, a lot of OF that are playing.
All right.
In fact,
We
we
have the
have
grid right
one.
now.
Yeah, we have one racing, mostly OFW based. So that would include me and Mark. We're both from
Right.
Singapore, and we have someone from New Zealand, Christian Duque. We have Kaloy uh, racing on our usual series, and he's
So,
from Japan.
so now we're seeing this is a warm up lap or
This is
actual race.
the actual start now. So
Oh,
Adrian Miguel is
we're
leading.
okay, all of them are sweeping now into the first left-hander. Very fast. I think this is fourth gear right now. And we have a guy who's really putting away Adrian Miguel, right?
Yes,
And
Adrian Miguel is now pulling away.
into the tunnel. So we have Adrian Miguel putting away. We have a gaggle of cars in second and curling it out. So if we can span the camera a bit to the back so we can see who's while Adrian Miguel pulls away. So here we are. So we have Ilyas 17 coming up in fourth. We're like 420. Is really pushing it right now. And they're approaching very tight, or well, it's going to be a little bit faster, not really a slow corner, but a left-hander to sweep through, and we can see the battle for fourth and fifth. Those you can see Aaron Bagayan trying to find a way past Ilyas, and they are approaching a quick right-hand left-hander sweeping left. So side by up with each other. This is the back first lap of our Tokyo race. So
It's a
third
very early.
place, yeah, we have a penalty. I see third placer, right?
Our fourth placer, that would be Pat Hess. for like
Okay.
420, and also fifth, which is Aaron Bagay. So the only
So
place you're gonna get a penalty here is if ride the wall. So wall riding here is definitely gonna catch you. There are not
yeah.
much chicanes that you can cut. So this is definitely coming from a wall.
Right. So again, we are looking at the battle. We are bringing the grid or the lineup a little bit further apart now, as you can see who the guys who have the courage to order on fourth and fifth gear, and they're really quick. And we have battle now for seventh and eighth. So here the Bagay on the inside line is a left-hander. He has a very good advantage right there, and he's a red, so he's guiding seventh place. So and now the rest of the cars are trying to pass their way into this. Still gonna be a straight, but right, and then a left, a sweeping left. So most of these cars again, fourth and fifth, trying to feather their way to make it the right apexes and not to hit the walls, again hit the walls in these races.
So it looks
I
like
think
Ilias 17 has a large gap to second, which is 6 seconds, and 3 seconds to fourth, which is Pat. And let's look at John Calonso. John, oh, we have some issues with this server.
this again, this is the pitfalls of doing it live, but we
Yeah,
are good. Yeah. So this is
this
expected. We were prepared for this, and then what do we have to do right now?
yeah. So we'll have to restart the server.
Oh,
Then have everyone join in. The good thing is we can skip qualifying. We already have the qualifying. It's just a matter of rearranging that.
all right. So again, everything is going on live. And if you're a Gran Turismo player, if you're a PlayStation player who has done online racing, you might have experienced this once or twice. And this is one of the things that we want to show you that it's going to be exciting, but at the same time, the technical issues that we will be facing will be quite commonplace from time to time. So we just try to make do with it. And so the good thing about it is everyone will be able to extend their time on the track and be able to race again. So hopefully the guys who were in front earlier will be able to make it back on the track. So if they show the same pace as they did in this starting race that we had earlier, we should be able to see them string out the lead coming into this new restarted race.
And a lot of the viewers from blog page, they are used. We want to stream it live because that basically more organic. That's they'll know exactly what goes. They know if there's an issue, then how we restart everything. Of course, it might stall the momentum a bit, but at least they get to see firsthand what's going. We might move into a format wherein we're just streaming a pre-recorded race, but I think it's still more organic hosted live.
It's good to have it live because one, you get to learn the game more, and then two, of course, you have more track time. In the end of the day, if you have to do it all over again, well, why not? Because you are competing, you are racing, and this is a very it's an official club race, right? It's an official Gran Turismo Philippines, which you organize every Saturday, or at least you have a calendar of races already that allows everyone to join in. Right?
Yes. So consistently we have it on Saturday for Gran Turismo. At
Right. So it's a good thing that we have you guys there manning the fort and allowing everyone to experience the thrill of online racing in Gran Turismo Philippines and Sim Racing PH These guys are really experts in what they're doing. And for those who are new to the game, those who have seen this game before, if you started in PlayStation One and you enjoyed it, you'll enjoy it now more than ever because the graphics is really good. And if you guys up to date with the news, we just for Gran Turismo 7, and it's really hot. I mean, the graphic, the potential of gameplay, I'm sure is going to be together with the new PlayStation 5 console that's going to come out. Okay, so we're now waiting for the restart of the race. Again, we are all using the Mazda Miata NA touring cars. These are race spec machines you can buy off. If you're playing the game, you can buy it in Japan, and then you go to the manufacturer Mazda or lineup. Things about 200 horses, about 200 newton meters, and it's very light. Or it can be a lot more with a little. And these cars, and then race here on Gran Turismo. So corner, even when you can eliminate, have been ingrained art for those in is a good benchmark out what makes your car interesting. Also tweak your garage. Happens as you drive it. And
Yes, the thick enough to give. But if you are going to be um, uh, pin is for the time to making sure force feed you're gonna feel all of those same forces that you would driving a real
the last
car.
time, force feedback wheel and pen those just to make feedback I want. Of course, you would say your right strips and the wheel as well move. Thing the pedals because well, and the braking force that you put in moves the way you want it. The experience in Gran Turismo, learn no more of the car. Yeah,
I'm just trying to stick the on an actual wheel because I've never wonder what the touring car team and what the what we have
a few years ago, we we organized event called, and steps of get set a time Gran Turismo was, and or I was able to join the new Grand later with the or I got NA from our racing line. The O is the go down the course, fit down across. Go. But again, in corners where to put your cars.
Using it for for actual experience on the racing P8 dedicated. We're able the local
Yeah.
um, drivers.
Breaking points are you know without crashing your way that track it experience back on the race. Again,
Yes, so the race.
again, there's a go all the car
There's that we only have gonna
okay,
follow
that's good.
through.
Cutting corners right here.
So he's building up that gap again. He's
Adrian,
now
yeah,
2 seconds from
yeah.
Pat.
Adrian Miguel, all nerves of steel right now as he goes through the corners, flat out, most likely, maybe just a slight lift on. Meanwhile, the battle for second is building up. Birdleg, 420 Pat is number two, and then the drift method, Mike Custodio, they're all nose to tail into these sweeping sections as Adrian Miguel continues to pull away. So second and third is very fast right now. Nothing in between these guys. A slight mistake by Birdleg 420 Patties might allow third placer to come in closer and cut that gap.
So that accordion from second to fifth should pan out after a few laps. Um, this is a very fast track. Like we mentioned a while ago, there's a lot of straights. So what they have to be careful of is tighter corners is avoid that accordion process, or the gaps are going to get small.
Yeah. Oh, very sliding right there, almost into the guardrails as they go into the. So Bird Leg is pulled away already from our third placer guy. And can he catch up with Adrian? Let's see. Adrian Miguel is way ahead,
Oh,
likely.
so
Oh,
here we have
yeah,
the three drivers now. Third,
yeah, a good battle right near. Battle for third, 3, 4, and 5. Very close right now in the straight. And they're trying to find their own lines, so especially for. So we have Aaron Bagayan again making his move on this side, but he tries to goes back and he doesn't make that pass, so he tries to set it up again. Very left-hander there. Will Adrian Bagayan find another way faster? We have Michael Sigat to try to hold on to fourth.
looking in the inside. Oh,
We have Aaron Bagayan right now, side by side, right into the perhaps as then again. So we have Michael hold on to that position. Aaron Bagayan is still attacking, trying to find a way as he makes again. So very quick race right here as Adrian Bagay or tries to find a way. Our Michael got in this battle for fourth place. Third place ago. Aaron Bagay now side by side and he's ahead as Michael Sikat loses that position into the left-hander out of the tunnel. So now, if Aaron Bagay is really quicker, then Michael will be pulling away through the fast. And let's see if that really happens now. So we have 8 drivers on the track, but we are still focusing on the battle.
so it looks like to be a lonely race at the back. He's built up a 19-second. CJ Jazz has built up a 19-second gap to William on.
Well, that's a nice thing. You get to learn from the faster guys in events like this.
And the story seems to be revolving around third to.
You can see this fast left fourth gear, I believe, as they try to make his way through it. It's a quick left and then again back into the tunnel.
Now he's chasing down Michael Custodio.
So drift method, Michael Custod with with a slight slide right there for Michael Custodios, but that time goes in a bit more. And these guys are now really taking on most of the road, trying to. What's our status on the grip here? So are the tires gonna last all the way until the 10th?
It should last. We're using normal tire wear, so that's 1:2, and it should last them for the.
All right. So again, the battle for third is the drift method. Mike Custodio, number 3, and then Aaron Bagayan trying to find a way. So this is one place you can try to close that. Hopefully, Mike Custodio does not make a mistake through these sections. A series of left and right handers. Again, they're all using one make. Tuning is open, so that can play a factor why some of the cars are a bit faster than the others because they've known or they've been able to tune their cars for this track. Meanwhile, the rest of the field, again, these 3 guys, third, fourth, and are just all over each other. And as they make their way through that left-hander, they're almost hitting the guardrails and setting themselves up into another right-hander.
And
So,
if you look
very
on,
tight.
yeah, if if you look on the track map, this grid has really opened from first to the last place. There seems to be a story building up. I think that's between William Lloyd and Boo Boo Knight here as well. So William Lloyd is chasing down Boo Boo Knight. Yeah.
Alright. Bubu Knight Lyle Garibay trying to hold on to sixth place. Meanwhile, we have our William Lloyd, trying to. So let's see if the next series of fast corners, if we can cut that in, because it's just a matter of whether you want and how much you want to step on the accelerator through those. Like, are you brave enough to do that without hitting the wall? So it's a feel of the grip, making sure that you can hear the sound and then trying to control the other. Meanwhile, a battle for third place once again. So we're back.
Aaron has dropped back to fifth.
All
We
right.
missed
So,
that at the action there.
so this is a very hot battle between Michael Sikat and Aaron, and they're still going at it. Aaron Bagayan trying to regain or trying to with sparks right there as they probably hit the edge of the road. Again, this is a street, so you really have to be exact when you're racing. Although it is quite wide, you do have walls and it will slow you down. Again, Aaron Bagayan hunting down Michael Zika. So this seems to be the story of the night as our race leader still everyone else. First in pole position and still number one. But as we again the battle for four. Here we go. These so hopefully no mistakes coming up. Sixth lap of 10. And they're still going.
From Aaron. I believe this is a shout out to Cars
Yeah.
One. The girls that were cheering Lightning McQueen on.
Yeah, Mia and Tata.
Yeah.
Aaron Bagay hit the wall right there. Some sparks flying off a few corners earlier. There you go again. So he's really pushing it. And luckily for him, the penalties aren't really getting applied right now. He's getting away with that. But of course, in the real world, if you're gonna hit those railings, you are gonna lose some time, and of course, it's not gonna be good for your body work. As you can see, there's already death on some of Aaron Bagayan's nice MX-5 touring cars. So those wall excursions aren't really helping him.
So one thing to note about the tire use, by the way, the compound that we use are Sport Soft. So these are not as grippy as racing tires. And I believe this is the first series we have this year that uses Sport Soft.
Right. And still, we now go back to the battle for fourth place. Aaron Bagayan still has fallen back a bit from Michael Sikat. But hopefully, we still have about 3 laps to go in this race. The nice thing about this track is you have some latitude of making wider or different lines than the usual, and that will allow you to come in closer. It depends on how wide or how different your line is, how much you can step on the accelerator, how early you can step on it.
So now we're following William again, and Lyle has got through William, so he's now in 6th place.
Yeah, we have a penalty for William, so you can see the penalties are on. So they must have really went out of the track right now, like everything so slow. Okay, so stars are just racing through our Tokyo Expressway track, and hopefully in the next few hours we'll be able to see our race leader, Adrian Miguel, can hold on to his lead until the end. Really, really close to the wall right. So I don't know if that's a tactic, if we can get away with it, but normally you do try to keep your some distance between yourself and the walls so they don't slow down. It's a very quick race right now. Very excellent camera work from Gran Turismo.
I think that's what I love the most with Gran
Oh,
Turismo
you
is
get
the
sparks
presentation.
right there. Yeah, again, you get sparks right there as one of the cars again hit the wall. So that will be one of our guys right there, Mike Sojo, just grazing the wall. So it's not exactly a very clean race for everyone as they try to explore the limits of the track and they drift having a big smile. But one guy who's really having a good race is Adrian Miguel, really way ahead of everyone else. Into our last lap, I think, or second to the last lap.
So the nearest car to Adrian right now is Fat Head. He is 9 seconds away and 3 seconds away from third.
So it looks like it's gonna be a walk in the park for Adrian. Bird like 420, of course. He's not able to close that gap between himself and we can't even see where Adrian Miguel is right at this point in time because really far ahead. So masterful driving there for Adrian Miguel to be able to from the very start actually from the all the way and hold on to that lead until there's 9 out of 10.
And Bird like 420 is he
Oh,
has actual racing experience.
oh, that's
It's
cool. So this whole thing just validates his experiences because
yeah.
right there a few corners earlier did again scrape the the median of the racetrack and the road. So he's really exploring. Might be really pushing all the way, bottling everything into the corners. Again, so this is the last lap. To get a shout out, Miguel. We might be seeing you at the finish line coming in soon. Let's try to go back to the leader as the rest of the pack have spread out. So here we are, our race leader, Adrian Miguel. And how many corners does he have left coming into this last section of that lap?
I think less than 5 corners left.
Right. So Adrian Miguel has mastered from lights to as he tries. Well, not so much effort right here because he really has a class of his own coming into the last few corners of this Tokyo Expressway race. Our first race for the Miata 98 and of course Gran Turismo Philippines and Sim Race Philippines and Kotsay Kotsian together with Inquiry Mobility bringing this making this possible for you guys to watch and enjoy watching the race. And we have here we go, crossing the finish line. Adrian finished our grid of 8 drivers, originally 10, but now we have a battle brewing between fourth and fifth. Really close right now.
Oh,
There's a guy close to tail to the finish line, but Aaron Bagay was able to close that gap at the last second. So, good effort though. Good effort. Aaron Bagay led. We have led Michael Sigan into the last few corners of this race as they cross the finish line of our 10 lap race here at the Tokyo Expressway. So here are our results. Adrian Miguel again, right? Congratulations to Adrian Miguel for winning our first race for the night. And it was very masterful for him to actually lead from lights to finish here at the Tokyo Expressway. Congratulations to our first racers. This is Tokyo Expressway, and we still have 2 tracks to go.
so here's our final list. of the 12 drivers that ran Tokyo Expressway Central Inner. So for the drivers, if you're listening in, don't exit the track. We will be changing the track Red Bull Ring.
Right, and you can see that fastest lap time is always Adrian Miguel, rightfully so. Every lap for the last 10 laps. So we will be switching to the Red Bull A1 Ring. That's a very classic track, newly renovated a few years ago, right? Before they started using it again for the Dutch Grand Prix. I mean, the Austrian Grand Prix. And it's a home of Red Bull Racing, and that's where Max Verstappen really made waves. Last year, we had an experience with Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc kept banging wheels together at the tight right hander atop the hill.
So we'll be changing to the reverse grid um, starting position, and we will be going to Red Bull Ring.
So does that mean Adrian Miguel will be running 12?
Yes, Adrian will be having a hard time trying to pass, guys.
Gran Turismo Philippines, you're so mean. No, actually, it is a practice being done in different tracks or different events, race events around the world, just to make sure that we have a fun and entertaining race. But because we are really fast, like Adrian Miguel has shown or has proven tonight, he will be able to pass to make do with traffic in front of him and hopefully land on a good spot. Maybe lead the race again if he's really that fast, especially in a new track like this one, the Red Bull Ring.
Okay, so we're just waiting for a while to calculate some of the race standing before we proceed to the next race. So, how's your experience so far watching the race, Miko?
Well, it's exciting, especially when you have two or three drivers very close together. That's the nice part of it. When we were doing our coverage of Slipstream back in the 90s, late 90s and early 2000s, we always made sure that the camera was pointed where the action is. So, Adrian Miguel, you're really quick and fast. Congratulations. But I guess the people are also looking for the action at the back of the and honestly, that's where most of the excitement is coming out. And then it's nice to see that people or the guys who are behind the wheel tonight are really going for it. They're trying to find their way, trying to find the openings that they force people into mistakes. So it's all part of gamesmanship in racing, even here in the virtual world.
And there you go. We're at Red Bull Ring. So we'll start. You are going to give him 3 minutes to get ready. And we'll
Right?
prompt them to enter the track.
Right? So all racers, they are now being asked to enter the track and get ready for your second race of the night. A very quick, very fast A1 racing. So it's a very long straight, goes up a hill, then you brake really hard, maybe down to second or first, depending on how you take into a right hander and then another right hander, and then you have sweeping corners, going downhill again. And one of the loveliest tracks I've actually been able to race on virtually. And you just have to find a rhythm through this track. And find if you find that rhythm, you'll be able to go fast really quick, especially in the last corner. The exit to the last corner is really you really have to get it right while being on the edge. So we're now setting up the new track, and then hopefully everyone's going to be in. So before we start
I think
our second
some of the
race.
drivers are having some connection, so they're dropping off the grid. Seeing them drop off the grid on the left. We have so far we have Kyle Bakay, Pat, Adrian Miguel, Aaron Bagayan, Ilya 17 Knight. And on the back end, we what's happening actually is that if there's someone bugged, what the race ad Mark, Elman, and TJ are there, you're asking the drivers uh, exit the pit and then exit the server, then come back. So that means that I won't be able to use Gran Turismo's automated first grid.
Mhm.
I will have manual order similar to our.
I guess that's the expertise of Gran Turismo Philippines, right? So you're able to manage the game and allow everyone else to enjoy the game at the same time, and make sure that every race is run fairly and run with excitement at the same time. So that's a good thing. You have an organization like yours to be able to manage this event for everyone to watch. So if you're watching Gran Turismo, you have a Gran Turismo sport game, you have a PlayStation 4, you see this and you're interested in joining, Gran Turismo Philippines will surely have more races ahead, and they will be able to give you the entertainment and the fix, answer the fix that you need to try and race virtually, even though you can't really go far beyond the confines of your city of your borough. At least if you have a good internet connection and a good experience background with Gran Turismo, you'll be able to enjoy this one as well.
Okay, so I'm reading through the chat group right now. We're having um, some server issues, and we're still sort that out.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we do like to remind everyone who's watching that this is a race featuring three racetracks using the Mazda Miata NA, and together with Gran Turismo Philippines, Sim Racing Philippines, and Conseco. These three entities have banded together to offer our public the chance to experience the thrill of racing virtually, and maybe even offer those who are talented in online racing or in gaming the opportunity to break to make themselves known. So, in cooperation with our media partner, Inquire Mobility, we are able to bring you these races and you can see for yourself how it's run. And for sure, in the next few weeks, we should be able to have more races coming being organized by these three groups. I can hear some screeching tires already as some of the cars have managed to get out of the track.
Yes, so some of them have finally resolved the pit bug and are in the.
So again, we're warming up, and the guys are getting familiar again with the track. This is, of course, the Red Bull A1 race. You're familiar with this, one of the classic in Formula One. They are the main straight, a bit of an uphill run as they brake hard, a force of gravity trying to pull you down, and they don't really have to brake that much harder. And then again, uphill again. And this is a very tricky because at the very end of it is a very header called Remus, and then that's you have to really position your car or your on the left hand side build up speed again, still going up. So if you really want to go fast into the track, you have to conserve as much momentum as you brake only when necessary and conserve the speed. While at this point, cars are now heading downhill to threshold, and it's going to be a series of right, left, and another left, sweeping left That's your first left-hander.
So while we're waiting uh, for the grid to fill out, and while we're looking at the reverse grid positions, Teach, do you have any updates on the race stream? So uh, what are the audiences posting?
Yeah. Hi guys. So we're seeing some comments here on our live race feed. So we'd like to give a shout out to Luis Moreno. He's one of our top sim racers in the Philippines right now, and he's been doing international sim racing events. Also, shout out to Miguel San Mateo, who is our Group 4 Cup champion in Gran Turismo Philippines. So we just recently concluded this last week. And also some shout out to some fans of Aaron Bagain who's supporting the stream. Hello, hello. Yeah.
All right.
Aaron,
Congratulations.
Aaron is TJ's
Yeah, actually it's my brother.
brother, and
Yeah.
he's been giving him tips last night.
Yeah. He's been practicing all night, to be honest.
Are you guys in the same house?
Yeah, we live in the same house. So I'm seeing his race actually right now.
He's just in front of you, I bet.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Chris Canaria. Hello. Good evening to you.
Chris, you're watching. Of course, Chris from the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Hopefully, we have also, if we can catch him, our motoring editor, John Arcano. Hopefully, he's watching. And then for those guys who are into racing or into mobility, you have the Inquirer Mobility Facebook and social media and website as your new channel for news about the automotive industry. And this is one event that's already making its way, making itself noticed in the industry, especially now that everyone's locked down into their homes. So this is a good alternative for everyone to still again experience being mobile and being on the road, and even now being on the racetrack. Okay, so right now we are going to have a reverse grid, right?
Yes, we're arranging the grid manually, as we've seen some of the drivers go out of the track. So once they come back, Gran Turismo is going to think that they didn't race on the previous race, and Gran Turismo is not going to create that automated reverse grid. So we're checking our race standings from the previous race, and we
Mm-hmm.
are doing the reverse grid manually.
All right. So as you can see, our guys from SRPH and of course Gran Turismo PH managing this race quite well. We have members of Gran Turismo Philippines joining us here tonight, racing with us on the first ever Inquirer Mobility streamed Miata night. How many years or how many times have you done Miata night before? Have you ever done this before in your group?
Way back in 2009, I
Wow.
believe that was one of our very first races on Gran Turismo 5. It wasn't more of a series because to give you an idea of what we have races like the Group 4, the recently concluded 4, then we have the EK Cup. So those are a series of races. These ones are more casual. They're fun races for new drivers that want to try
Yeah.
the servers without actually being part of a larger race series. So less pressure on them. All they have to do is have fun. Um, so this is that type where we have one night, multiple tracks or multiple cars. But race series, we do that. We try to copy actual race setting.
Yeah. And
Uh,
you get to experience also different brands, right? So it's not just a Mazda Miata. You also have other car brands, other models racing together in your events.
yes. So right now we just chose the Mazda Miata because it's a low-powered car. If you put that on sports soft, it's not going to invalidate your skills in any way. You still have to be very good at driving for you to really put up a good fight here.
And
Okay, so
again,
mhm.
we're using the same tires.
Yes, we're using sports soft tire. It's
Okay.
gonna be the same for everyone in the grid.
All right. So we're now setting up a track in the race for everyone to be able to find their positions on the grid. Again, you're watching the Miata Night, Mazda Miata Night, being organized by Gran Turismo Philippines, and then Sim Racing Pilipinas and the Frecuencian.
So we are about to start race two
Okay,
of
race
our
two for the night.
three
For
track night.
all right. So we are going to be at the Red Bull Ring. This is going to be a fast one, and the Red Bull Ring, of course, is about a 4.3-kilometer racetrack in Austria and site of many legendary battles over the years in Formula One. Right. So we have the grid right now. Who is on pole this time?
On pole is Kyle 122995. Second is Kyle Bakay. Third is John Colonzo.
All right.
It's interesting because these three were had glitches at the start, so
All
it
right.
would
So
be
now they're in
a
front,
nice thing if they're okay. And there
revving
you
the
go.
engine now. All right. And there's a start.
Yes,
Oh, it didn't start again. So those two
yes.
guys in front got stuck right there as everyone tried to avoid it. So a very, very messy start for our. Well, we have four drivers stuck there on the grid as the rest of the guys making their way to turn one. This is going to be a fight for space right now as they try to make up all the roads. Some of them going out of it, just trying to find a position through. A very long straight going up. We have Shadow Rockstar, number 13 in the lead, but by just because number two is now dropped to second. We have a good battle for the first place right here as they break really hard. Oh, we have one and two side by side. Shadow Rockstar on the inside line. We have also John Colonzo side by side right now as they make their way into. This is going to be another braking zone, another passing zone for them. So it's John Alonso in front. Breaking really hard. Oh, blocking
No.
there. He got contact for sure. And one of the
Yeah.
cars going into the gravel trap. So can he make it himself back? So that's gonna cost him time. But the battle for the lead resulted in contact with Shadow Star and for John Alonso. So they are holding on. You see, the grid is really bunched up together right now. We have 5 or 6 cars right there with Shadow Rockstar number 13 being hounded by John Alonso and trying to find a way past them. Of course, it's going to be another passing zone as they break right hard into
There,
the next right-hander.
John was trying to look inside, but he's too
Yeah,
far.
yeah, and that's the wrong line going in through. So he tried to make his way through there into the last corner now, sweeping right hand into the mobile.
Oh,
The
both of
red.
them have penalties.
Oh no, because of the bumping and boring for sure. One of the cars right almost to the grass right there. So
Yep.
the first two guys are still side by side, but they have a penalty in time right now. So it's a very tight and action-packed race with one of our guys in number three, the third guy on the grid right now in the lineup, wanting to get a piece of the action.
From the mid pack battles on the previous race, now we're looking at the podium battle
All right,
for
the
this
top
race.
three. Yes, the Shadow Rockstar 13 still barely holding on to John Alonso. Now moving on the outside line, almost running to the grass, but he's still side by side. And now we have Birdleg 420 again, a very familiar at Keys right now, making his way up to second place. So now breaking hard
This is
now. Who's
gonna
coming up? Four.
this is gonna be a very tricky corner. It's expanding rate.
Yes, and then that's allows Shadow Rockstar to let him fall back as Alonso now in the lead of this race. So very exciting first two laps. And we have Bird like 420 once again. Pat, he's trying to find a way. Also, just behind them, battle for 14th and 5th. But the top three are definitely entertaining us right now, especially the battle for second place. So, Pat, what are you gonna do? You have, of course, two right-handers coming, trying to find a way
Oh,
on the
side
inside
by side.
line. Oh, he closes the door. So we have Shadow Rockstar being pushed out of the track right there, or at least losing enough road as he goes out the runoff area, but into the main straight once again. So this is the battle for second place that seems to be heating up side by
Going to the
side right
first turn.
now. Yes, very close to get it.
Oh,
Trying to go to the middle of the track. So, oh, we went wide. So Bird like cornering went wide, and that allowed Shadow Rockstar again to move up to second place. So it's a seesaw battle between second and third going into this third lap, and they're not yet right now, downshifting third, fourth, and very close to each other. I wouldn't be surprised in the real world that would have been a crash. Here we are in the virtual world, we're enjoying ourselves. The battle between Shadow Rockstar and 13 and Pat Patties are really heating up. So and Patty's trying to find an opening once again, breaking really hard. What gear do you think is third? Oh, it's gonna run out!
the
Oh my god.
drifting there.
Yeah, the wrong move through that corner. He just outbraked himself, and that allowed Patties to close in once again. And now they're almost side by side. Pat has an inside line, but closing the door right there. Probably some contact as well. There you go. You have Shell Miata going out of line right there, as it allowed Patties again to take second place. On board now with our battling duo. One of them we have uh, Matt Heath is just in front, braking really hard into the first right-hander. So you don't want to lose momentum right here. You have two right-handers. This is the second one coming into the main straight, but Pat is really putting away now.
Yes, so let's look at the back. Oh, there seems to be
Oh,
some action, and CJ Jazz just spun out.
yeah, we have a spinner right there, and there's a big contact in the wall in the real world. So now let's see if we can make it back into the track in this race. Replay, of course. Why not? So we have Aaron Bagay as we watch it. Just in front of him, we have a spinner right there. And
CJ Jazz.
yes, just Philip CJ lost it into the last car. You can make that mistake because it is a downhill, and sometimes you get light on the brakes in the back end, especially as you turn right. Hopefully, that's just no contact incident right there. As we watch number fifth category player of a guy and exiting our very famous corner right there.
So Pat
So
has made a gap between himself and Shadow Rockstar, but he's still chasing down 2 seconds to John Colonzo.
all right. So very exciting race, our second track for the night with a Miata NA Touring race being brought to you by SRPH and of course Gran Turismo Philippines and Kotse Kotsean being streamed by our media partner Inquire Mobility. So we have Bird Leg 420 in second place within eyesight of our leader. Who's our race leader right now?
So John Colonzo, race leader, he's one of the newer drivers in Gran Turismo PH. But that doesn't mean he's slow. He's actually one of the faster drivers on the league right now.
All right, so he's proving himself right here on this event, making sure that we watch him, get a good eye on him, driving skills. So John also given starting chance, he's able to get a good lead or a good commanding lead so far over Bertlick 420. John Colonzo pulling away ever so slightly. Meanwhile, in third place, Shadow Rock 13, Rockstar 13, now being chased by our race one and if Adrian Miguel is really good at it, he's gonna really close in and braking.
Oh,
Adrian Miguel on the inside right
no,
now, and he's gonna
no.
go wide. No, yeah, contact between Shadow Rockstar, who ends up in the wall, goes to the back end as Adrian Miguel, and now we have Adrian Miguel that passed him. So Miguel was able to go past him and retain that position or take that Shadow Rockstar 13. Elias 17 is closing in on Shadow Rockstar and losing it on the okay. So Elias lost it there. Shadow Rockstar is getting a breather right now and able to build up again a gap between himself. So very exciting here. We are in lap 5 here at the Red Bull A1 ring, and so far Shadow Rockstar has kind of figured out in many of the battles in the first 5 laps, all the way from second battle for second, now third, now he's down. He has some issues with the back end of his car as he exited that corner.
They're taking a wide turn here. They're gonna get penalized a lot on that.
In time wise, you mean? No,
There
it's
you
try
go.
drifting up here. So he
So
lost.
there, and as you can see, he's got 2.5 seconds of penalty just for that stunt at the last quarter.
Okay, so that's not gonna help him out, especially now we have our penalties. You can see if you drive recklessly or out of line, you can get a penalty, especially in this game. So everyone, if you really want to go fast, just try to make sure you're on the racing line most of the time. And as we go back to our race here, John Alonso.
Less than 2 seconds between him and
So John Alonso now making his way down into Schloss Gold, a right-hander. How do you take this corner? What gear do you do? Third gear?
third. Yes, if I go down second, it's unsettled rear.
Yeah, and you lose time about it, right?
Yep.
So now
It
go.
depends on driving style. You know, for me, I hate it when I step on the gas and I lose traction. So I'd rather higher gear at that corner than
Mhm. All right. So John Alonso just showing us how he takes that corner. So we are now on this short stretch going to Rin as John Alonso is being chased by who's on second place? Yeah, Birdleg 420. So
mhm.
Bad Tease has really been all of the action right now. As John Alonso takes that last corner, the Red Bull Mobile Ring, into the main. So these two guys are on their own, trying different racing lines right there, right? So it's not exactly the right racing line or the normal racing line, would you say?
Yep. And I think what John was thinking was that Pat might have been too near him, and he was trying to defend early.
Drafting.
He realized that he wasn't there, so went back to the normal race.
Yeah. So that's can get you a slipstream effect or a slight of drafting here, especially right here. You can see trying now Burdick 420 Pat he's trying breaking really late and trying to cut down that lead. Very tough exit there for John Calonzo, finally feeling the pressure from Pat. So Pat Hees is now all over the back of him as they make their way into Schloss Gold right now. The opportunity would be
He's
to
gonna
move on
try
the
and
right side. Yes, go late braking right here, side by side. Now just hold on to the inside. Bird like 420 now moves on ahead, and Pat is in front, but John Alonso is really fighting back, trying to find a way. This time it's going to be a left-hander, sweeping left-hander to Roush, and I'm not sure if Birdleg 420 is comfortable or safe right now because John Alonso is now moving on the inside. We have Pat he's closing in the door right there. So you really need to have a good racing line to these series of corners to maximize because they're all sweeping. You don't want to lose momentum. You don't want to lose the racing line going through. through them.
And with less than a second between them and still 3 laps to go, this is still anyone's.
Yes, we've seen crazy things happen in races like this. You just have to put your head down and make sure that you are doing things. So again, it's all about muscle memory and being consistent. Watching your lap times, make sure again you can see they're breaking the drag. Yeah, Pat, he's trying to move out of the slipstream or not
Yes,
give a slipstream to John Alonso, who actually goes wide at the exit right there as he tried to break.
he's lucky to get away with no penalties for breaking out of that corner. I think it's a slow corner. Gran Turismo does penalties for going outside. Is that if it's a fast corner, you're going to get a penalty, but if it's a slow corner, you're going to get away with it.
The main penalty that I saw right there was that John Alonso fell back and he just lost whatever advantage or what distance and gain that he had in the previous last couple of in that stunt alone. So John Alonso has a lot of work to do with only what? How many laps do we have now left? We only have 2 laps to go, 2.5 laps, and John has just had to hunker down and make sure rides all of these corners cleanly and make sure that they're all in the racing line, brake right, accelerate, try not to lose speed by scrubbing off understeer, trying to correct into their oversteer. So John Alonso has a couple of laps to go to be able to regain that lead. Obviously, is on a roll right now, as I mentioned earlier. This is quite important. You have a rhythm in this track, and as you can see, Pat's trying to hold on or to even build up a bit of a lead over John as they make their way into the last corner, our Red Bull Mobile corner. And again, looking at John, entering now the ninth lap. So look at the distance between Pat and John. So it's like Pat found the secret formula, the secret racing line to build that gap. Earlier, he was just behind John, and now he's just way ahead. Already maybe about 200 meters, 300 meters ahead of John. So once again, coming up to Remus, and this
So this
time
is
going back to the straight, to the grandstand straight, we have Shadow Rockstar 13 and Ilias. So these two guys are all over themselves right now. Closing the door right there, Shadow. Oh, right, okay. So you're gonna push him out to the track right now. So Ilias kept it on the line and made sure that he's there on the inside. Nowhere to go for Shadow Rockstar. Now, side by side, Ilias has the advantage as they break hard, turning in there on Shadow Rockstar.
oh,
Sure, as they go out of Cleveland. And again, nose to tail right there, side by side action between these two Miatas, these two drivers. So exciting race right now. We'll have Shadow Rocks at 13 as it goes into Rind. So very again sweeping third year right hander corner right there. More into the right as they prefer from Schlossgo they come into Rock. So Shadow Rockstar had a good run right there until he was caught up by Elias, who stayed on the inside line coming up to Remus, and that allowed him to pass. So again, let's see this battle for fifth place developing right now.
so the action really is pegged at these two. We can see on the track map that Birdleg and John Colonsto have already built that gap.
All
So
right.
I think we'll be watching these two up to the end of the race.
Yep. Oh, and Shadow Rockstar. Oh,
Oh,
quite, quite.
1.5 second
Yeah,
penalty, I guess.
gave it
Yes,
too
it's
fast.
1.5.
Gave it too
Mm.
fast, and he couldn't even control it. And just went out of the road. So it's a penalty, a 1.5 second penalty. So that's gonna
So
slow them down.
okay, so it's the final lap, and he's got a 1.3 penalty. It looks like he's dropping back. Let's go look at Bird Lake for 20 Pat Heath as he makes his way to the
There's
uh,
Touch Gold right now, just
mm,
exiting that. So quick right-hander and then into the left with Rouch. So we're like 420. A good race for him so far. Is able to get himself out of the mess in the midfield and find himself into the lead. So meanwhile, our fifth placer Ilya still there, being trailed. But in the last few corners, we have a few more corners to go before Berlik 420 reaches the finish line. So we want to go back there to our first placer. And a good run. We saw a lot of action between Pat Hees right there and a few other drivers as he exits the last corner right now into the grandstand straight. Good win for Berlik 420 as he crossed the finish line of our A1 Red Bull A1 ring, followed by John Calonzo. So too bad Calonzo was able to catch up and close that gap, and the rest of the guys followed through right now. So good race for Berlik 420.
so there's your top three: Bird Lake, Pat Heath, John Calonso, and Adrian Miguel on third. So Aaron Bagayan on fourth, and Ilya 17 on fifth.
So I can't wait to see the replays of this when you do the highlights. For sure, it's going to be exciting. A lot of action, right? A lot of spins, a lot of excursions, track excursions, and
Mhm.
congratulations again for a good win for Pat Hees right here.
Okay,
All right.
so let's look at what's happening on the TJ. Do you have any updates on the?
Yeah, hi, well, Miko. Not none so far at the moment, but what I must say is we really enjoyed this race too. Lots of action in our drivers. Really good performance for him.
Yeah, and they're really pushing it. Some of them I could see were really taking up all the road and then some. Some of them are hardly breaking at all for some corners, costing them some time into the last few corners, and that's part of the game, right? So you try and experiment where you can get an advantage. Physics won't overrule you and give you an advantage. However, as we've seen so far in the last couple of races, we've seen daredevil moves that didn't exactly go well as planned, but there are some moves that actually went well, and we're able to see a lot of action right there. We have door banging, we have guys running uh, two wheels off the track just to make sure that they hold on to that position. So intense action right here in the Miata Night, Mazda Miata Night. And congratulations, of course, to you guys in Gran Turismo Philippines for organizing this so far. And it's a lot of fun, not just for us who are watching the race, but also for sure the public who's looking at it. And we can't wait to see the highlights and make sure relive the exciting moments that we've seen so far.
Yes, and you banged the nail on the head there when you fun. There's a lot of work that goes around in organizing. Uh, TJ and Mark have been very good with helping us out in live streaming at Koche Kochean, and it's that word there, fun. Where we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's part of the racing. There's a lot of things going on in racing. Whether you're a mechanic, you're a race car driver, a team owner, or in this case, you're online gamers. And there are a lot of ways to enjoy racing, to enjoy cars on the track safely. And this is one of them. Is how it can't get any safer than this because you're just hunkered down into your seat and you're holding onto your steering wheel in your living room and enjoying the fun, enjoying the racing. I'm sure those guys who haven't tried this before, this is the perfect time to do it. Now that we are still under quarantine for most of the time, you have more more time in your house. Maybe some of the stores in the malls who are selling electronics and date, and you know, these stores are have lines or queues going really long outside because they see the value of online gaming now, especially that we're all under quarantine.
Yes, and that extends to any type of genre. We've seen a lot of streamers these days. They stream anything from fighting games to mobile games. Nintendo's Animal Crossing, which is a very laid back game. So it's very fun to just watch them sometimes. And it's funny. I see the irony in it, in that we're watching people playing. It's like I frankly wouldn't have thought about that when I was a kid that we'd get to that.
Yeah, and you know, technology has really taken or has given us the opportunity to experience this because there was a time when Gran Turismo was just you and the computer, or maybe a second player just beside you. But this time, you're playing with drivers who are across the globe and enjoying at the same time. And you know, that kind of access is really amazing for in this that we're living through this day and age. That kind of access, that kind of opportunity to be able to race, to be able to enjoy racing on the track.
And esports has really taken off. I mean, in the 80s and 90s, I still remember going to those small PlayStation rentals, and they'd be hosting their own tournament. It's
Yes.
just you versus the people who actually go to that store. So it's a very small community. And when you go to another arcade or another city and try your skills there, it's humbling when you suddenly get swept. And now you have this very open online world where you go in, and then if you just want to see how you stack up to Max Verstappen, you can do that. You can go to and look for his stats on iRacing and benchmark what
Yes.
you how you drive online versus an F1 driver, and that has always
Yeah, and if you remember GT Academy a few years ago, there have been notable drivers who graduated from being gamers and now full-fledged racers, right? John, Jan, I believe Jan from the UK. He's now racing for Nissan in Japan. So these kinds of drivers, they all started humbly as online gamers, and because of their skill, because of their focus and their determination to achieve what they want to do, they were able to move up the ladder and find the opportunity and the break to be able to make it into racing. Racing is not cheap. The real world racing is not cheap. You get to spend millions there if you want to succeed. It's not just the cost of the car, cost of the setup. It's also the time that you put trying to look for sponsors, trying to look for supporters, and the opportunity, the races to compete in, to make yourself known. And that's kind of a chicken and egg situation for racing, not only in the Philippines but also everywhere in the world, where you really have to make a name for yourself and let your skills do the.
So while we rearrange the grid, Mark, are you online on the Discord chat?
All right, I think Mark is. Well,
I think he's busy with the race control
yeah.
work. So I was gonna ask him to give us a history of Gran Turismo Philippines and uh, how we started, because I'm fairly new in terms of being a member of Gran Turismo Philippines, but there's a lot of people there who've been for 3 or 4 years ahead of me.
Okay. Gran Turismo Philippines started in 2014. Hello?
Yeah, go
Yes,
on.
we can
Yeah.
hear it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Gran Turismo started. Philippines started in 2014, whereas it was only the sixth installment of Gran Turismo franchise or the series. So there are a couple of drivers, online drivers, who started this group mainly for like 11, and now we are like 2,000 members in the group. So by running like 6 years from now.
already. So that's how many guys? 2,000 in the
Yes,
community
more
already.
than 2,000 now. And some of
Okay.
those have already been our players way back in Gran Turismo 5 and then Gran Turismo 6. They also joined the series from time and time.
Anyone there started playing since the start, like me, Gran Turismo One.
I'm also a player of a Gran Turismo 1 from PlayStation, but I'm more of the Gran Turismo 2 due to the fact that I owned the PlayStation a bit late, like year 99 2000, that time. So
Yeah.
at first, Gran Turismo 1 is new to me, so I had to adopt this racing game. But of course, before that, there are some games that I was interested, and then this caught my eye. That okay, I like to do driving as well, so I want to learn something from this game. Then I got to know the license until you put the gold on. Until Gran Turismo 3, I skipped Gran Turismo 4 until I came back Gran Turismo 5.
Wow. So you've been all through them, right? So I kind of stopped after Gran Turismo 2. It's just because work kind of got in the way. So after Gran Turismo 2, I stopped there. I did some actual racing in Subic, maybe something, some also in Batangas and Clark. But the the passion or the lure of actually online racing is kind of caught with me again, and the bug has bit me again because right now you can't really go out of your house. There's nothing much to do except either
Yeah,
watch Netflix or watch YouTube. And then this
yeah,
time, you have online gaming. So whatever your interest is, whether it's racing, whether it's warfare, or whether it's simulation building or city building or whatever, role playing, all of these are different channels for you to express yourself, to enjoy and live life still despite our current situation.
yeah. That is correct. Well, actually, it's also a pastime hobby that you can you can go on through. You want to play it online, do a racing, do what do you call that, RPG online like Ragnarok before until now, even Counter Strike or Call of. They are getting some number of people nowadays due to this. I don't want to thank this pandemic. It's giving more people or players to join this online competition.
Yeah, because especially with faster internet speeds now. Well, I say that relatively because it's not really that fast here in the Philippines. It's one of our problems, really. But with the internet that we have now, it's kind of giving us access to the outside world, even though we're still in our house. So that's the kind of opportunity that this pandemic has given some of us and allowed us to experience this kind of thrill, even though we're not outside enjoying the sunlight as it is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, I think Noel is getting itchy of pressing that start race now, and I'll
Yes,
just
yes.
give the air to you
Okay, so
guys.
we are now to our final racetrack.
Yes, so I gave them 2 minutes. While we're waiting for that 2 minutes, I'd like to give a shout out to our friends at GTPH. They also worked hard in making this happen, particularly to Alan Escoto.
Of
If
course,
Alan is
Alan.
on this, just say hi. But he's been very helpful with this one. He's very enthusiastic with regards having sim racing reach more people. So
Right.
it's a very nice thing that Inquirer Mobility is helping get our name out there. Our community is very casual. I mean, it's not really a professional community. We try our best to hold um, very good quality races. Unfortunately, we can't escape normal issues online. But if you join our group, if you get to the driver's chat, because we have a driver's chat wherein everyone who joined the race is sort of
Mhm.
plugged into that chat. Um, if you get in there, you're gonna learn a lot. I mean, not just in sim racing, even in the people there are very, very. So shout out to the folks at the drivers chat. We have a lot of well-known sim racers like Luis Moreno is part of that chat. More than happy to extend his expertise to anyone who's willing.
Thank you, Luis. And of course, we also like to thank the guys from Tuason Racing. I believe they're also part of the group, some of them at least, and hopefully they get the chance to see this race tonight that we have. And even though they have their own event coming up, and just to plug them, of course, they have their own celebrity race coming up tomorrow. So
Yes.
go to Tuason Racing's Facebook page. It's going to be another night of sim racing for our frontliners with celebrities this time, going behind the wheel and taking part in the action.
Okay, so we'll start the race now. Let me
All
just
right.
give a heads up to these guys so that they don't
So
surprise them.
just a backstory right now. We are on our third and final track for the night. It's the Tsukuba Raceway in Japan. It's a very short 2 kilometer track. And if you're familiar with best motoring, you might have seen this track off very, very often. And this is where they normally have their short races with the various sports cars and various cars available in Japan. So this is where we will be having our last race for the night, the Miata night, Philippines, and of course, this is again brought to you by Gran Turismo Philippines, Sim Racing Philippines, and then we also have our Kotse group, and of course, our media part require mobility. On the grid right now, who are on the top?
So William Lloyd, Boo Boo Knight, and Shadow Rockstar are pulling the front.
Okay, they're now revving their engines right now, waiting for the lights to go off, and we are going to be racing now. Are we? There you go.
Yes,
So the
and
start,
I think we only have one glitch racer this time.
we have two
We have
guys.
8 drive.
Yeah. So again, coming to the first quarter, we have Kukunay in front. And contact right there already between second and third placers. So two drivers. We have one of the Miatas going sideways. Contact right there, Shadow Star Rockstar. And two guys going on now. Let's move to the camera to the back. This is going to be action to the back of the third quarter as they try to make their way down to the Dunlop curve. So again, side by side right here, as they feather their way through that right-hander and into this very tight last corner, hairpin, as they try
Oh,
to position to the floor again. Contact with the three side by side now. That's car 2 and 4. And again, we have well, all of breath right now. Four guys right now battling
3 wide.
California. Make it forward soon because one of those guys is on the back. And how can you make this first very fast right-hander last corner and shoot into the grass? And there you go. So we're gonna lose some time right there. Again, very very good start for everyone. But we have so they're really trying to battle for space. Very tight track here. We have in Cuba, and every inch counts. Shadow Rockstar in third. John Calonzo again, really with their battle. And we have again in the battle for fifth and sixth. Third leg 420. So all of these guys trying to find their particular place of the track. We have one third leg 420 just on the
Just one
grass
off
right there.
track. Yeah.
And one of them
Oh,
getting
one bump there from Shadow Rockstar to John Colonzo. John Colonzo just went
Yeah,
down to
spinner.
10th.
And
Yeah.
we have a spinner in the back, right there. And our 10th guy, John Calonzo, who figured really good in the battle in the first two races right now, is all the way back. And we make the way to short straight. This is a very fast, maybe third or fourth gear, feathering throttle corner right here, trying to keep your wheels or your tires on the black spot. And again,
There you
Shadow
go,
Rock,
third one again.
right at 420. side by side right there as they make their way to turn one.
And
So
that is a very
again,
tight bunch from
yes,
fourth to.
these
Oh
they're
my.
still together. Very okay. So who's gonna come in first? We have Aldo right to the first right there. With the course lane, just exiting almost the ground, but managed to get on track for the course lane. Leads this gaggle of cars with Val for fourth and fifth, developing once again in sixth and
There.
one. We have trying to brake really hard and almost losing it right there. One of our white cars on the app. So all of these cars again together. We have Agent Nick, our first race winner, the fifth man, and they're trying to find their way now and position themselves right to the right hander. Guys, make sure you're on the racing line. This is a very tricky corner. You're gonna lose speed and maybe even lose ground. You're really coming into so we have a
Oh.
new okay contact right there again. We have a car just falling back right there.
They're playing bumper cars now.
And you can see it on their cars how much contact they've done in the first four laps, first three laps here now. Very exciting race so far. We have René de Leon also figuring it out. One of the new names in this battle here in Tsukuba. But they are continuing now. So Rene Dila in the middle of it, El Rockstar, we heard of him earlier. The first time Rene Dila now making a move on the inside line with Shadow Rockstar 13 as they go
Heading into
exit.
the final turn.
Yes. So this is a short straight now as they make their way into the grandstand once again. So it's gonna be just slight tap on the brakes, feathering on third and fourth as you exit to the pass. Make sure that you are going to stay in the ass. So these guys are really pushing it right now, and the battle for fourth place is again heating up. Actually, fifth and sixth place. We have two cars behind each other. They are coming into turn one. Let's move back to battle for fifth. We have a blue car, a Shadow Rockstar 13, chasing the dirt method. That's the dirt method, of course. The drift method, of course, Mike Custodial. So these guys are together right now again. This might have been deja vu as we might have seen them earlier in the A1 rig, but definitely they're not letting each other out of their sight. So very messy. Oh, a very messy exit right there for Shadow Rockstar. So hopefully we have to clean up his line. The damage already being supported by some of the cars. They have the drift method, of course, the like Studio, his car featuring some damage already. So trying to make his way through the last corner, trying to curb speed, getting the curves right there, exiting just right enough, just making sure you don't go way too out of the all four wheel for the runoff as we make your way into another lap. We are lap it's a very short track, 2 kilometers to a raceway, so it's very quick and it's coming in really soon. So really keep your eye on these guys. We have Bird like 420 again, trying to chase, really going out of the track right now, just making up all the roads, making sure you might concede, but at least preserve all the momentum that he has. So Bubunay, so you have Lyle, Karibay, just ahead of our perennial racer driver, Chaser, and this,
Yes.
yeah, he's really quick right now. A little lift off the throttle right there as he tried to turn into the car, now crawling out,
Trying to
using,
make the most out of that, of
yes,
the outside.
yes, and
Get
then
that.
that's one of the techniques to actually get the exit or go through that exit quick. Okay, so it does a quick left and right into a very tight, hard braking corner. Maybe second, you can hear all the tires squealing right there. Just try really hard to brake. Athletes trying to conserve all the momentum that he can. Miatas are most or almost of the same caliber, just minor tweaks of setup. to make them more easier to handle. But definitely, Pat is really on the hunt right now as we see him closing in that gap again. Here we are, moving right. So that's Lyle Gariba being chased right now by Pat. He's Pat on slightly on the inside, trying to go back to the racing line, guys. See, you can slide your way through these last corners. Last fast sweeping right-hander. You can
Set up for a
definitely go
good
out.
pass here.
There you go.
He takes the outside, probably wants to take the chicanes here.
Yeah.
Take him
So
on the chicane.
Bird like forwarding there cleanly through, so that's gonna help him a bit cut that gap between himself and Boo Boo Knight. So he's just all over the back right now.
Oh,
Oh, right. Just really nothing in between him. Sideways exit right there. Bird like forwarding trying to throttle in, but definitely just all over now the back of Lyle by Boo Boo Knight. And how long can Lyle hold on to this as we see Bird like now? People on the
oh,
inside.
there
He's
you
on the
go.
inside now. Closes the door right there. Bobo Knight nowhere to go as Lyle or loses that place and Pat he takes up a position foul in second place. Can he hold on to this? No, on the inside line, trying to protect. He's gonna go back again to the left side and make that right-hander, the quick right-hander, cleanly be able to build a gap between himself and Lyle.
And it's already lap 9. Wow.
Wow, there's so much action happening, and we've lost track of the laps already, and it's already night. Very wild entry and exit right there for Lyle as he tries to close in. You really have to clean your lines through these corners to be able to cut that kind of. Okay, once again, the Patsy's moving on to setting himself up into that fast right-hander and now into the left into the hairpin once again. Number one is still there, right within striking distance.
So here's another battle right now between Shadow Rockstar and William Lloyd Talon.
So William Lloyd holding on. Oh, very missed exit right there for Shadow Rockstar. He's trying to throttle out, so the back end was skipped on him, and right now he's trying again. Well, I think he's just enjoying himself right now, but
Yeah.
definitely not the fastest way through this track if you're on the grass most of the time. Penalty therefore for Shadow Rockstar 13 as he went to the grass.
So here we are with Ilya 17, his first win of the night. He's gonna be passing the straight finish line soon. But
Yep, just
behind
coming
him
out of
is Birdleg or Pat Heath, about 2 seconds back.
Yep. Can Pat still cut that goal because Ilias is really cleanly going through the motions right here as it goes now, breaking into the hairpin, and let's see, this is short. There's nothing much gonna happen right here unless you mess it up into the last corner. But it looks like
Has to,
Ilias, yep, Ilias
he
will
has
be
to
able
keep his
to,
composure here. Yeah,
yeah, just
and there
cleanly
you
going
go.
through.
There you go. He just made sure. He just
Do
made sure
that.
of it. He didn't do any late braking or anything on that one.
Do it right. So Ilias 17 now wins our Tsukuba Raceway round, our third race here in the Miata. So congratulations to Ilias 17. Who's in second and third? We have
So we
Birdleg.
have Birdleg and Boo Boo Knight. So Pat Heath and Lyle Lemel Garibay
All
on
right.
second and third.
All right. So congratulations again to Ilias for holding on to that lead, making sure in the last corner they take it really clean and no point in losing the race in the last corner, right? So congratulations again to all our Gran Turismo Philippines racers tonight, and that was a great. If we lost count of the laps, but Ilya 17, and he was already up there and holding on to that lead with a good and comfortable.
Okay, so final standings for race 3, Ilyas 17. Second is Pat Heath, Birdleg for 20. Third is Lyle Lemel Garibay or Bubu Knight. Delio, and fifth is John Calonzo. while we tally the results of the race, Mark, TJ, do you have anything from the live feed?
I guess I can shout out from Thomas Rosales. He's been one of our veterans in GTPH.
and
Hello, Tom.
also he's one of the TRS finalists. He will
Yeah.
be racing, and you need to watch him tomorrow night.
Congrats. Congrats in advance, shall we say? But hopefully,
Nah,
good race
final,
for
final.
everyone. Yep. So hopefully, it's going to be a good race for everyone, especially with the celebrities on board for tomorrow's race as well. Of course, the Gran Turismo for being part of a special race event that people to join that is Gran Turismo Sport. And of course, the members Philippines and Sim Racing PH for staying up really late in the night. It's already we get around 9:30 or something, and now it's already 11, almost 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
So
That's kind of our
our
normal
normal operation whenever we have
norm
online.
so you guys really have to be passionate or into this thing to really stay up really late for this one. I'm sure you guys are still gonna be playing. Some of you guys are gonna be playing after this.
I don't know if they wanted to, but we try we try to make it short of the time.
Alright.
We give some solutions to this kind of race a bit late, but yeah, hopefully we can still, you know, make some sort of this.
but
Alright.
if you're asking if they are going to be racing on other series, then yes, there are a lot of race series online, and some of the Europe, and I think Goro, right, Mark,
Yeah.
on Sunday morning.
Yes. Later, 3 a.m. I will be racing 3 hours of Spa.
Wow. 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Alright.
3 a.m. Spa Francorchamps. 3 hours racing.
Good luck. I wish you luck there, and
Yeah.
just
Thank you.
prove that carry the Philippine flag, right?
Yes, correct. And
Alright.
there is a nation cup standings over there, so we try also to participate on those events so that, you know, we can expand. Whoever wants to do endurance racing like 1 hour or 2 hours.
Yes. And again, this is all because of the platform that we have a PlayStation and of course the game Gran Turismo Sport, and definitely the members, the very passionate members of Gran Turismo Philippines and Sim Racing PH who support each other and give each other the encouragement that they need to not only compete locally but also abroad. Congratulations to you guys. Thank you very much for
And
such an
thank you,
exciting
Miko,
race.
as well.
Oh, no problem. I miss doing this. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Definitely watching action like that and calling action like that is gonna be one of the highlights of this quarantine period that we are experiencing right now. And of course, this streaming is made possible, of course, with also the support of Conte Garcia and Noel. Thank you very much for
Yes.
your support and enthusiasm in
And
making
also
this
Team Racing Philippines.
as well. You're still there, still awake.
He
Yeah,
is
I'm
still
still
awake.
here. I'm still here. Yes, congratulations to everyone, and congratulations to Noel and Miko for a splendid show.
Thank you, thank
And
you. And of
we hope,
course, yeah,
and
go,
we
go,
hope, sorry. We
go ahead.
hope the players had fun, all the participants in the qualifying, and Gran Turismo Philippines have more series coming up. So keep watch out. And for our series guys who are non-stop sharing our videos, commenting in the video, thank you.
Thank you.
And see you guys tomorrow. We have a Assetto Corsa competition race. So hope to see you guys tomorrow there.
All right. Okay, so last words from Noel.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to get the tally down so that we can announce the overall winner. So should be just a few more minutes.
Sure, of course.
Okay, so while Noel is tallying the top three overall winners, who will be joining for our interview. Shout out to Ian Sokila. Hello there, Ian. How is your online racing? And Ian is also finalist in TRS race tomorrow as well.
All right.
One of the member of Gran Turismo Philippines.
Go, Ian. No, can't wait to
He
watch the race
actually, I will give a story for him. He joined last year with our 2.4 hours of Nürburgring,
tomorrow.
and as a rookie, he won that instant.
Wow.
Yes,
Okay. So
2.4
he's
hours.
been playing even before you probably joined the group, right?
Yes,
Like he's been playing.
correct. Yeah, he has a group as well, a professional group. And also a good thing for him is that he is using a controller.
Wow. I can't even imagine. I tried it a couple of days ago, but okay, I just gave it up. The steering wheel is just way better for me and for many of the guys I'm sure here. But using a controller is really a skill or a talent already.
Actually, I was a controller user as well before when I was in PlayStation 3 on Gran Turismo 5 and 6 before
Yeah.
buying secondhand G25. So
All
from
right.
transitioning to controller to wheel is a bit you need more time and you need more seat time in order
Yes.
for it to adapt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then just to compare that with, like, for example, from our end, the professional drivers who used Gran Turismo as sort of practice. So I started Gran Turismo with a steering wheel that didn't have force feedback. And driving now with the modern steering wheels that we have like the Thrustmasters,
Mm.
all of these gear just make the experience more engaging and more memorable for everyone. You kind of develop a sweat after a race, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
think you think you're just sitting down in a seat, but it's actually concentrating. You're really focusing on your racing lines, your braking, your technique,
That's true.
and it's
That's true.
these things really make this not very engaging. So it's not just sitting on your couch or your seat. You actually think, you actually concentrate, you actually put your muscles into motion, and that's why you kind of sweat after the race, and you just feel that you had a workout.
That's true. That's true. It's a test of endurance as well. Even if you're doing the practices, you also still do some concentration and also
Yes.
sweat. Sweat
Yeah.
also from that run that you're going to do.
Yeah, concentration is very important here because you're relying on a limited number of senses. As a professional driver before, I used to rely about like where my butt was going, like how much G-force you feel, the sound of the tires, the the, the movement of you going forward, lurching forward as you brake. So all of these kind of muted for Gran Turismo. So you have to rely on visual cues, more on the sounds of the track. I mean, the tires. So those little things are really a different kind of skill, but nonetheless, it helps those drivers or those online gamers that don't have the track experience feel the same, almost the same thing on their PlayStation consoles.
I remember I tried the Sparko Cup track
Mm-hmm.
attack as well using my car.
Yep.
Alan was with me that time. We were together doing the track attack with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So it was raining as well. So
Wow.
that
Brave.
was August. Yeah, that was August.
Yeah.
So
That-
I experienced my off track, my first off track, my first spin also. So yeah, but technically, we were racing in a Clark Speedway. And that's my first, actually second time in Clark. First one is a track day with the Vios Cup. Yeah.
And
So
the nice thing
it
about
was good also.
yeah, the nice thing about having simulation is you get to know the track quite well.
Yes,
You know
that's
what
true.
corner is coming in. You know how far it is for the next corner, how to prepare yourself, where the racing line is,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, it helps in the real thing.
Hmm. Actually, I experienced that when we were racing in our factor with Sim Racing Philippines. They have Clark Speedway track. So from then on, I just memorized the corners virtually and then applied it in the real life. So I'm using a Corolla 93 model. It's a
Yeah.
2E engine. So just memorizing the lines
Yes.
and that should be fine.
Yep. And that's a good opportunity for you guys to experience all of this before you actually hit the track. During our day, we had no choice but to bring our cars on the track.
Yeah,
To
and
experience this kind of sensation.
you need to put more practice.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
so the preliminary results are in, but this might change. But the three drivers, the top three drivers are Pat Hayes, Adrian Miguel, and Michael Sikat.
Okay.
So I
Again,
do Pat Hayes, Adrian
okay.
Miguel, and Michael Sikat. So Michael
The top
Sikat is
three.
Ilias Seven. So that's our top three overall. So this might change. We'll still be looking at the replays and probably making some corrections on this one. But so far, those
Yeah. Yeah,
accurate.
you can already hear one of the guys trying to start a new game at the background. But yeah, congratulations to our top three guys. You really did well. You know, these names we've been calling them all night long in the three tracks, so you know they're really into it and they deserve the victory that they got tonight.
Okay, well,
Okay.
thanks guys for the very exciting race right now. I mean, the past few leagues that we've had, we've seen some action, on track action, but this one, I guess, was from start to finish. We've had people battling it out.
Yeah.
In other races, we'd see parts of the races wherein the grid would spread out, and we were just waiting for them to finish the parade. But for this race, it was very, very nice. So thank you, Miko. Thank you,
Thank you.
Inquire Mobility.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, GTPH, and the two folks that have always helped me on the Koche Kochehan live streams, TJ Bagayan and Mark Walter
PJ.
Hellman.
Yep,
And
PJ
thank
Mark.
you,
All
Alan
right.
Scotto, for bridging the gap between us and Inquire Mobility and giving us this very wonderful opportunity.
So thank you guys. All the racers, of course, tonight who stayed up late and have fun. Thank you very much to all of you, and hopefully we'll see more racing here in Kuala Mobility in the future or the next few weeks. And let's keep in touch, everyone. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching our first Miata night here on Inquire Mobility.